Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. My name's Alex, and this is Freq Boutique number 47. Welcome, and thank you so much for being here and hanging out with us on this amazing Monday night. In case you do not know what Freq Boutique is, this is a monthly modular synthesizer performance showcase. And we have 6 performers playing 25-minute sets, and then afterwards, we do a 5-minute Q&A real quick so we can all learn a little bit about what the performer was doing and get the conversation started about the gear they were using, what might have influenced them, and things like that. So that is Freq Boutique. We have been doing this for almost 2 years. As I said, this is number 47. I think I missed 1 month right when COVID started. We skipped 1 month, so we're kind of like 1 month behind, but we are almost to the 2-year anniversary, which when we get there, we're going to have a rager of a party. Whether it's online or not, still going to be a rager of a party. So anyways, that's enough of me talking. Thank you all so much for being here, and we've got an awesome show lined up for you. First up is Heckseven. Enjoy.
How are we doing? Seems like a pretty good Monday evening. And I just want to set your expectations. This was all done very last minute. I mean, this morning I was putting that top case right there together like it didn't exist yesterday. So that combined with living at 8,000 feet, this is going to be a fun one. lessons. I'm just kidding. I can't play anything else. Unless it has Furbies in it.
I gotta unmute myself. Yeah, so that was Heckseven, everybody. Give it up in the chat. What's up, dude? How's it going?
Good now. It's good Monday.
Dude, that was awesome.
Thanks.
So everybody, this is Heckseven, and this was a last-minute performance. I actually hit you up this morning. I don't even remember what time, probably like 10 a.m. And you basically responded with, well, I just tore my case apart, count me in. And I was like, that's the attitude. That's what I like to see.
Yeah, that top bit was new, which meant I had to take everything sort of apart to see where it fit in the stack.
Yeah, totally. So, okay, so yeah, top case didn't exist yesterday. So that's just to add, you're just adding more stuff, building more stuff?
Yeah, I'd had a few modules lying around that I really needed a case, but I hate building the case part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, building the case, like, I don't know, woodworking always seems so easy, but then when you do it, it's like, wait, no.
Two of these cases have blood in them, so don't, like, assume I'm good at this.
Yeah. Okay, I'm curious, now that I've seen you play before, and I was curious about the Squirt pyramid and like what you're using to talk between the pyramid and the Modulus and the modular part.
Good question. Pyramid goes to a bunch of MIDI splitters to talk to the other synths, and then it goes to there's a MIDI to CV module here. Look Mum No Computer, and it's like a MIDI Musil module. It's
cool.
Based on here. Let me move the oscilloscope. It's this one tucked in here. Yeah. So it can do quite a bit. It can do like multi-channel polyphony and stuff like that.
That's awesome. And then I was curious about what is the scope showing? Is that showing one voice or the?
That's showing everything right now. I think I'll have to double check, but I'm pretty sure it's showing everything.
Cool. Yeah, I saw it looked like it was getting modulated by the kick, but I guess it was probably just zoomed in so much that the signal looked pretty clean. Like, so I couldn't quite tell.
Yeah.
All right, and then so I noticed that the oscillators have a display on them. That shows, is that a tuner, or is that like a quantizer, or what's going on there?
Yeah, it's a baked-in tuner. It's not a quantizer. The quantizer is a module that's been on my bench for like months because I can't get it to work. But yeah, it's a baked-in tuner. It doesn't like the super high pitches. It does like that, but it makes it really easy for rough tuning. It's not going to be super precise, but it's good enough.
Oh, that's cool. I think that's a sweet idea.
Super handy.
Like, I remember talking to some people for a while about there needs to be a Eurorack tuner just in general, and I got a lot of pushback on that, which is kind of silly.
Oh yeah, there definitely needs to be a tuner. Like, it's a pain. Right now I have like
you can just use a guitar tuner. It's like, come on, man.
That's what I'm using. Like, I've got one on the ground for like the Mega Drone.
Yeah,
so that's a pain.
Okay, and then drums, is that all the drum brute?
Almost all drum brute. I have the rample going in the first half with some like accent, like higher pitch hits that the drum brute doesn't quite do. Like, it's not great at like super short, snappy stuff.
Okay.
And then I switched it over to Furbies later on.
Yeah, and then what's the Furby? Is that a module? Or?
That's all the rample as well. So the rample's here. It's one of my few Eurorack modules.
Okay.
And so I just switched from like a drum set to a Furby set.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, the rample thing seems really cool. It's definitely like, I probably talk about this every month about the search for the perfect sequencer or the sampler, and having like a nice, like you said, switching kits. That's kind of the big thing, is switching in between kits and being able to have like different setups ready to go.
Yeah, and the rample is really good at that. It comes with stacked samples, and like I've got a couple of like the door stopper and the other microcosmos over here, which is essentially an ears CV controlling like pitch and stuff from the rample.
Nice.
And
awesome.
some freeze.
Right on. Well, thank you so much for playing. That was really wonderful. And yeah, thanks for jumping on last minute. Really appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me. It was fun.
Yeah, of course. Heckseven, everybody. And thank you all for sticking around and hanging out with us. We have lots more performers, so don't go anywhere. As you probably know, we used to do this at a bar in Denver called Fort Greene, and a wonderful bar on the north side of Denver. So if you are ever around, they are open doing outside and limited seating, dining room seating. So you can go there and get a drink. Really nice place, cool ambience. And we someday will be back there partying with all of you. But until then, this is what we got. So again, thank you so much for being here. We're just going to keep on rolling. And up next is StuJay. That would be crazy. What's up, dude? I'll have you echo cancellation.
Hi. Is this working?
Got it. We're good.
Great. Hey.
Yo, that was amazing.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. We are starting this show off with an absolute bang right now. All right, so I think we got all the audio things settled, and this was a full-fledged StuJay performance. I'm really stoked about it.
Thanks, man.
So yeah, chat's going crazy. We've got lots of cool comments. I am curious about a couple things. So in the beginning, and it's kind of throughout the theme, the stereo drum textures. Where were those coming from?
Yeah, there was a bit going on. So the drums at their most basic are Crucible, Crater. We had 2 HP snare and 2 HP hat, and Crater was given a little bit of sweetening from the Instro Ton, just kind of a little shaping, which gave it a little bit more, little bit of kick that I like. And actually, I meant to do some big crashes with Crucible, and I didn't, but it would have been epic if I had remembered. The snare was actually going through Magneto. Those two modules for me are like best friends.
I think that was the texture that I was looking for.
That's what we were catching. And then the hat, I don't even know where that thing's going. Yeah, I think the hat was just straight up.
Cool. Yeah, Magneto's really great just to throw stuff in the stereo field when you need it.
But also what I had going on, a lot of that percussive sound, I was sequencing gates into Fumana. And then Fumana was going into both beads and Chronoblob 2, just to kind of make some of that stereo field go a little bonkers.
Cool. I don't know what the Fumana is.
It's like it's a giant filter bank where you can each fader has a VCA. So I thought it'd be fun to kind of ping those and make some percussion with it.
Totally. Yeah. I'm looking at that now. That's a really great use for that. That's awesome. And so we had the grandmother, or was it the matriarch?
Matriarch, yeah.
Man, that thing, every time I hear it, I'm just blown away. It sounds so cool. And were you sequencing that at all, or were you just playing that?
Nah, for 1 minute, I think I put an ARP in there, but just briefly.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, now I was just kind of riffing.
And same kind of thing with the Moog 1.
The Moog 1, yeah. I was trying to do my best Lisa Belladonna, but not quite.
Yeah, that's where my question goes to: how much of this is planned versus like improvised?
I'd say 75% of what was at the keyboard was improvised, and then that little bit in the middle I noodled out earlier.
Okay.
And I had a rough idea of where I wanted to get to, and then just kind of had some fun playing around till then.
Totally, yeah. It sounded great. It was I don't know, that I was thrown back by the like noodly part in the middle, and then I didn't expect you to come back to the theme in the beginning, and that was really cool. Kind of completed the story. So you and we met a couple years ago.
Yeah. And
I remember I feel like you had just gotten into Eurorack when we met.
I tortured you at NAMM. I didn't even know what an oscillator was. And I came up to you with so many questions that I pretended that I was out of them and that I would remember them again. And I came back to you. So it was
right. and then I saw you like a year later at the LA synth meetup, and you were like, yo, I got my shit together. I'm good.
Well, I'm working on it, yeah. I think a lot of people watching can relate. Like, I walked into Perfect Circuit and my mind blew up. And that's all I've been thinking about ever since. And, I'm really happy to be part of this community. It's fantastic.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's great to have you. And so we'll talk about the community in just a second. But I was curious about so your background as a musician, were you composing and things and playing, like you obviously have played piano for a long time, right?
Yeah, I've got a classical background.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's something I don't think that I understood, and you probably told me, but I don't think that I got that coming.
I was age 3, a competitive classical pianist.
Okay, yeah, sweet. Yeah. So then, so bringing that to this is totally, that's why, like, I mean, that just makes a lot of sense as to where your music is going and what it sounds like. So that's awesome. My last question about the sound was the distorted lead that was just like screaming in the front. What was that?
That was just noise engineering at Araxis Ateritas. I bought that
Really?
like a year ago and haven't really figured out what to do with it. And I feel like today I figured it out.
Yeah.
It's screaming digital, and I was just jamming on the knobs, really.
Yeah. I mean, that one is just like, let them know that the tribe is coming.
Yeah, yeah. It's pretty epic.
Something is about to happen.
And that wasn't going through anything. That was just straight out.
Really? Wow. Yeah, that's cool. That sounded, to me, that sounded like there was like 3 layers of parallel processing going on. So that's super cool. All right, so now we'll talk about the community. So you started the Clubhouse. What's the Clubhouse club called?
Yeah, it's called Club Eurorack. But before we get to that, I just want to do a quick shout out to DivKid's Patreon.
Yeah.
And to DivKid himself. If you're not following and supporting DivKid, do it. Those are my people. And it was kind of, born of that community in there. I thought every once in a while we would have an audio chat, and, Clubhouse has been blowing up. So I thought Club Eurorack would be a good hub for people to come together in this community to do some live chats. And so far, it's early days, but more and more people are signing up. I noticed a couple people popping up their own rooms in there today, talking about techno, talking about women in techno, and really happy to see that. And I'm hoping that it'll grow.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, so I did my first, like, I signed into Clubhouse for the first time today. One of my friends was he does a YouTube channel. His name's Carl Carell. He does a YouTube channel that's Music Gear Mondays. And he's like he's a producer, DJ kind of dude. And so he had a room open with all these producers and DJs from Chicago. And it was cool because it's basically like a podcast that anyone can contribute to when you're listening to this room. And so I felt like I was listening to a podcast, and then one guy would jump in and just be like, yo, I just want to say, give my experience. Mm-hmm. And then, I got asked a couple questions and tried to hold my own against all these awesome DJs. But it was pretty interesting. Like when I first heard about Clubhouse, I was like, oh, like, are we going to be doing performances or, and obviously all of that is to be determined. But like, it was just cool. Like, I feel like it's, for people who don't know what Clubhouse is, it's a audio community that's, it's a social media network, but it's all about audio rooms. And so when you tune into a room, there are people talking about a subject, and it can be as open as a chat room or as closed off as like a lecture. And so it seems like it's going to be a cool thing. And like right now, I feel like we are all sharing like so much information, and everything is based on information sharing, that it just makes so much sense to have like an audio room where people can just get together and share that information.
And yeah, it's 24/7. If somebody's in there and they're lonely one night, want to buy something, not sure what to buy, just pop up a room. Somebody's going to join you and talk. And it's kind of nice to be able to reach out to folks. You're going to be our first interview on the regular Sunday morning 10 a.m. Pacific meeting this week. So thanks for that. We've got Traversy. Speaking of community, Traversy and Chantal have got this new modulation group. Check that out. It's for some deep learning. So I'm done pimping. I'm done pimping these things. But honestly, one of my favorite things about Eurorack is the community.
Absolutely. I mean, shout out to Southern California Modular Synth Society, Colorado Modular Synth Society, New York Modular Synth Society. I mean, everybody around doing this cool thing. We have like a lot of performers tonight are from Canada, which is an amazing thing. And we've just we've been able, I've said this a million times, but it's super cool that we've been able to grow our community worldwide because of the circumstances.
For sure.
And yeah, like you said about Discord, I think that's something that in my experience has been kind of underutilized, like just the audio channel. Like I've hung out with a couple people in production channels being like, oh, like you need to know how to set up an interface. Like let's just an audio interface. Let's just get an audio chat really fast.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's an interesting. I like that's something that I think Discord could be used for more, and I'm excited to see what happens with Clubhouse.
Sure. Same.
Right on. Well, thank you so much for playing. That was again amazing.
Appreciate it. See ya.
And thanks again, everybody, for being here. I just have to look at my notes and see who is up next. Wow, what a cool night we have so far, and we are not even halfway done. So don't go anywhere. We're just going to keep this one rolling. Freq Boutique number 47. Up next, we have Drift Diffusion. Enjoy. No love for my Pocket Bells canon joke? Come on, guys. I have to say, that was a pretty good joke. I feel like I just got shot out of Pocket Bells canon, right? No one? Crickets? Nothing? I think I'm funny. Everybody, that was Drift Diffusion. An epic set. Probably amongst the tops of all sets I've seen you play.
Hey, yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you see my face in the glow?
Yeah, you look awesome. I like to think that this is just how you are at all times during these times. It's just dark, and you're just over there with your long hair and your facial hair, and you're just partying away with the modular.
Yeah.
And the dogs. And your wife. How are you? How do you feel after that?
Good. I had to other sets I've played and it's been loud, but like this one I was playing around with it before and it was like loud on my own speakers in my room. And this one I was like, no, this has to be louder. Like just all not all the way up, but my ears might be ringing. Nice.
You might disturb the neighbors.
Yeah, that'll be an accomplishment.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like in my streaming setup, the stream interface is behind my mixer, and it's pretty much just like if I turn up the volume to my speakers, I'm turning up the volume to the stream too, and I'm always like, I don't know if I'm clipping, but I got to turn it up.
Yeah, so I have my speakers coming out of the headphone or out of the monitor line, so I can independently turn them up and not bother anything. It works very well.
Nice. My favorite joke of your set was Rolf's joke of Spinal Tap has got nothing on this sustain. Speaking of your Doom drone intro, and I was curious about what is controlling the drones, like the pitches of the drone and doing all like the slow slides coming in and out.
A couple things. 2 things, 3 things, I don't know. So the first part was there's feedback loops with guitar pedals.
Okay.
So like I just started off with just took all the pedals that were in the feedback loop and just played with knobs just like in the dark, no idea where I'm starting.
Okay.
And so when you do that and you start playing around with the different resistances, the things just slide to begin with. So that was one thing. And then the crossfade between the modules or between the interface, which is a board brain InterFX, and that's done backwards for the feedback loops. But well, also as it gets to being no guitar pedals, changes the resistance again and makes that kind of slide upwards.
Right. Okay.
And then the last one would be the I have a Sensel Morph that's like completely wired up via MIDI to CV to the ER102. So one of those is just like a straight up one of the sliders on it is just pitch, just no quantization or anything, just pitch up and down like an octave, give or take.
And you said that's connected to the morph is connected to what?
The ER101, 102 sequencer.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
How does that connect to that? Do you USB or?
So it's USB into an Expert Sleepers FH2.
Okay.
And then the FH2 CV out into the sequencer.
Nice. Awesome.
So like the Morph was also controlling a bunch of pitch stuff as well. So like a bunch of the arpeggiated stuff is not really arpeggiated. It's just me changing 1 or 2 notes at a time on a really like 6 or 12 note sequence.
Right. Yeah. So that, and that's the thing that's on the right-hand side of the 6U.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, your system looks awesome. It looks super fun with the wall mount, and then the 6U like control station on the bottom. And yeah, and everybody was curious about what was going on the right-hand side. I also heard the drums coming from the keyboard. Were those samples?
So
I thought I heard the old school like Yamaha drum samples in the middle of the set.
Yeah, so the only sample that was from the Yamaha is actually the hi-hats.
Okay.
The snare drum is a snare drum. Just long story. We have a snare drum at home now, so I decided to make my own samples.
All right.
So that's not that it's that special or anything. It just sounds like a snare drum, but
no, that's sweet.
And then the rest of it's just your Crater, Crucible, Fracture,
Awesome.
Chimera, all your modules.
Amazing. Yeah. So what I heard was the hi-hat, because that's one thing that we do not have, and then I heard the snare, which is another thing we don't have. But the snare sounded cool. I thought that those were both coming out of the keyboard, or keep samples from that keyboard.
So it's sampled. The samples are still coming from a simulator.
Yeah. And then you did play the keyboard for a second, didn't you?
Yeah.
And are you using that as a MIDI controller, or are you actually playing something?
Yes, it's a MIDI controller, but so that was doing CV control into beads.
Ah, sweet.
So kind of playing beads a little bit like a keyboard.
Okay, yeah, nice. Yeah, I loved that sound. That was really cool. That whole section of the set was really fun. It reminded me, and I kind of hate it when people are like, "You sound like this band," but it reminded me of this band that I still love called Maserati, and it's just like awesome droney krautrock. Do you listen to Maserati?
I'm not familiar, but
check it out. I think you would definitely love it.
Yeah, send me an album.
All right, I will. And yeah, so I think that's all the questions that I have.
Yeah. So one other thing that's fun, I guess, is so last time I played, I used these guitar loop samples that I had, and they were kind of just in the background as kind of this little swirly thing. And so this time I just used the same set of samples and just, that was most of the drone, at least, was
really
guitar loops that, repurposed, I guess, and put a bunch of distortion.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, dude, the set was really great. It had a really good, all the transitions were on, and it had a nice flow, and it just felt really cool to hear, like, I don't know, to hear something that I feel like you've been working on for a while, because it did sound very pro, and I don't know, maybe you came up with it this morning, but
no. So actually, a few weeks ago, I did a deep dive into my own Instagram account, and just went back to listen to some melodies to see if I could pick anything out that I wanted to play with that I hadn't, and found the one at the end. And fortunately, I could see where it was saved on the on the sequencer from
from the video
2.5 years ago. And the guitar thing, something I've been trying to, that guitar sound thing is something I've been trying to do ever since I rediscovered the band Growing a few months ago. And not quite the same thing, but they have some drone moments that have these big swells and whatnot. So
awesome.
Yeah, so thanks. I appreciate that. I've been looking at some of those things for a while. So
in the one last thing in the beginning, I thought I was hearing a delay, but was that just, do you think what I was hearing, like it was like on the right channel is what it sounded like? And I thought there was a stereo delay in the drones, but that could have just been an effect of the feedback loop if you have things, high bass effects in the feedback loop.
So there were some delays, but I was punching the pedal in and out too. And then there's the DLD, which is sort of coming in and out. And I always have that kind of, not ping pong, but it's each side is different.
I think that's what it was, the DLD.
But if you get things that are kind of, if everything's kind of related but just off, it gets these weird like phasey effects. So
Totally.
that's kind of probably what was going on.
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of sounded like a slow repeat, and I think that that's totally what that was, because it was, it was different in the right ear than it was the left ear. So thank you so much again for playing.
Yeah,
That was awesome.
Thanks for having me. I always love playing.
Absolutely. Everybody, this is Drift Diffusion. Thank you all so much for being here and hanging out with us. We have still such awesome performers to go, so don't go anywhere. Pour yourself a beverage, maybe grab some snacks, do what you got to do, and just stick around. Maybe turn off the lights and get ready for a dance party, or maybe not. Maybe just feel however you need to feel. Up next, we have Forestine. Enjoy. Wow. Everybody, that was Forestine.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
What's up?
How are you doing?
Good.
That was awesome. That was so nice.
Yay.
So this is your first time playing Freq Boutique?
Yeah.
And we're just really happy to have you aboard. And so when I have people that are playing for the first time, rather than asking like really pointed questions, I ask a little bit more about like your philosophy going into patching, and maybe like a top 3 kind of modules that help you achieve your goals. Did I even say a question?
Philosophy? I like making like helicopter noises, and
awesome.
Yeah, I like making kind of organic-y, noisy things.
Okay, cool. So with that, I will ask some more pointed questions. What is the grandmother's role in the setup?
So the grandmother was doing like the arpeggio that I had at the beginning, and then I had the filter out of the grandmother going into the Ikari. So then the Ikari is adding a whole bunch of resonance to it. So
okay, what filter is that?
The Bastel Ikari.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Yeah, and so that was that like the real resonant, almost kind of high pitched thing in the beginning that was kind of going in and out? That's awesome. Yeah, I was curious if that was one of my questions was what that was, because it almost sounded like a phaser or flanger or some sort of effect like that.
Yeah, it has like a stereo spread thing that you can CV.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. So that was another question that I was going to ask, because that kind of leads into what everybody is wondering is, and it's kind of a hard question to ask, but just basically your stereo imaging, is that all inside of the Eurorack, or is that is that assisted by the mixer as well?
Just the Ikari is stereo, and then I have a stereo delay pedal that was doing sample and hold stereo, which like puts a chunk on the left and then puts a chunk on the right.
Okay, what pedal is that?
It's the Grand Canyon, the EHX.
Cool. I'm gonna look that one up because it sounded cool.
Stuff actually, but all the writing on it is very tiny.
Yeah. Did you use the and then there was a pedal to your left that had like a spring on it. Were you using that tonight? Or am I wrong?
I was using a Demon Tube Screamer pedal I got from eBay for like $20.
Nice.
On my work stat, just to like make it a little bit beefier. And then the grandmother has a spring reverb, so there was that. Nice.
I thought I saw like an Electro Faustus noise generator
thing. What that is, so.
That was fun. You should check it out. I think you would really like it. They make they're one of those companies that makes like a pedal enclosure and then puts like a doorstop on it, and then you can like, you know, flick the doorstop, noises. And then there's like springs that go across. Like there's one that, you know, has a bunch of springs that go across, and then you pluck on the strings that makes a bunch of sounds.
Cool.
And recently, I've seen people that are using them to generate CV instead of just like listening to them. So then it's kind of like audio rate CV, weird stuff that I think is a cool way of using that. Okay, so moving on, chords. There was like one module that you were using to you turned a knob and the chord shape changed, and I was curious about what that was.
That is a monsoon in the resonator mode, and so the chord change is an envelope just going into size, and and then I fiddled with it until it sounded nice.
Wow, that's amazing. That sounds so cool. And then for mixing, what are you using for mixing?
I just have like an outboard Yamaha mixer, and it's kind of terrible, but it works.
Yeah, I mean, you got to use what you got to use, right? Yeah. I don't think that there's any like, I think mixers is just like, it's all about that utility. What is going to do it for you? Yeah. It is kind of the last module that a lot of people end up buying. and then you have to buy like 2 or 3 of them depending on how many things you want.
Yeah, like this one just bleeds really bad, but I make noisy stuff anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that. I definitely push my mixer really like with a lot of stuff, and sometimes it bleeds, and I'm like, well, it's just another layer. It's fine.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being a part of this and playing for us. That was just so great.
That was really fun.
And hopefully we'll see you again sometime soon.
Yeah.
All right, thanks everybody. This is Forestine. Give it up in the chat. What an amazing set. And we're just going to keep this rolling. I mean, this night has just been so cool. And I probably sound like this every single time, but I am just blown away by the level of talent that comes out and performs for us and just gives us this amazing show. Always different. And just like, you know, everybody's really just putting out like what they want to play. And I just think that's so cool. If you would like to play the next Freq Boutique next month, we do this every single month, second Mondays. And if you would like to play, all you have to do is sign up at coloradomodularsynthsociety.com/Freq Boutique sign up right there. And we basically how it works is you sign up, it goes into a pool, and then I pull the names on the Colorado Modular Synth Society YouTube along with Sign Mountain. We pull the names a week before. We try for a week before. We try for the Monday before. Sometimes it's a Tuesday, not gonna lie, but we try to pull it a week before, and then we pull the names out. We do 6 names, and then out of and then that is who gets to play. So then I email you if you get chosen, and if not, your name stays in the pool until you are chosen. So if you want to sign up a second time, it just adds to your chance. It's kind of like a rollover lottery thing until you get played, or until you get to play. So yeah, please sign up for Freq Boutique. I am, like I've been saying, just blown away by the talent pool here. Please do not be intimidated, discouraged, anything. If you have a semi-modular or modular synthesizer and you want to share what you are working on, please sign up. That's what this is all about. It's all about growing the community, hanging out with each other, lifting each other up, and listening to each other's music and what each other are working on so we can all get inspired. The Q&A is just to kind of break down that barrier between performance and audience. When we are in person, it works really well because you can start asking those questions, you know, like in person. And then when the set is over, after I do the Q&A, it kind of breaks down that barrier of, oh, maybe I shouldn't go talk to this person. It's like, oh, that person's right there. I'm going to go speak to them. So that is why we do it the way we do it. And now that we're online, you can do that in the chat and make sure to, you know, be a part of the community, whether it's Discord communities, Facebook groups, Clubhouse clubs. We are around and we are just trying to hang out. That's pretty much how it goes. So without further ado, we're just going to keep going. Up next, we have Current Fantasy. All right. Everybody, that was Current Fantasy. Everybody, that was Current Fantasy. Oh, I have the audio on.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
Hello, you got me?
Yeah, I got you.
All right.
You're upside down, but it's
Hold on.
it's perfect.
Hey. There we go.
I'm just afraid that when you're upside down, your cat's going to fall off the modular. That's pretty much it.
She's got a good grip on there.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, your setup just is so pleasing to the eye. That's the first thing I have to say.
I like having it all, up in front of me.
Yeah. And there's just like a lot to look at. Not, modules. There's the cat. There's like some skulls some places. I saw a little car. There's lots of stuff. It's cool.
Yeah.
So I have to tell you, we had some audio problems during the set.
Oh shit.
And it was just clicks and pops and stuff, and a little bit of buffering stuff. So I don't know if it had to do with the like changing of cameras or something like that, but just something for you to know that happened. If you have a recording, please send it to me and I'll resync the audio. But yeah, just something to look into for the future, and I know you stream a lot, so I was just but just wanted to let you know. But from what we heard, we could hear awesomeness, and we all had a really good time regardless.
Oh, fantastic.
So my question is, or I have a couple questions. What was the main kind of ARP? It was in the middle of the set, and it was just a nice little synthy arpeggio.
That was the Digitone.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So when you have the Digitac and the Digitone, and are you using those both Digitone's doing or Digitac's doing most of the drums? And then are they sequencing other things as well?
They always do different things. I didn't have any of the drums from the Digitact today. That was all samples off the Squid.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah, there was sequenced by the Keyset Pro.
Oh wow! So drums were all sequenced by the Keystep.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Nothing tends to keep. I don't have a set pattern. Sometimes I'll sequence with the Digitact. Sometimes Variegate, which I didn't even use.
Yeah.
Today.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the beauty of it. Put it together different every time and see what happens. And man, your piano playing, you're amazing.
I mean, that's what I've done for 20 years. I've been touring and recording keyboard.
Right. Yeah, that's so awesome. So I was curious about the normal piano sound and as well as the electro piano sound and where those were coming from.
I think I only used a Wurlitzer sound on both, and it was from the Roland RD700 NX.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering. I thought I heard an acoustic piano sound as well, but then I heard the electric piano after that, so I probably just heard the electric piano and was confused. Mm-hmm. And then as far as mixing goes, are you using the PreSonus mainly for mixing?
Yeah, I initially got it. I was doing kind of all the mixing in the rack, and I had a little small one in the other rack, but I got the PreSonus to be able to multi-track stuff. And now
totally.
that everything's been, I didn't plan on bringing it, to live stuff with me, but now it's kind of integrated in there. It's going to be hard to not bring it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's funny. I feel like we're all starting over when it comes to live shows. We used to joke around about, people's first Freq Boutique at the bar. They would show up with all their stuff, and they'd have 2 or 3 cases and a backpack full of pedals and all this stuff. And then they'd realize that we're in a tiny bar and the table is 5 feet wide and the changeover is 10 minutes between 2 people. So it was it was always just a really quick and kind of stressful thing. So people would always be each set, their setup would get more small and more compact, and they'd get a little bit more ready for it, And I feel like I'm definitely at this point, I have my studio set up in a circle. Yeah. And I'm when I go back to play live, I'm going to be all right, how do I bring this back down?
That was initially, I was, when I got into this, I was okay, I want to keep it small. I'm going to have just 2 cases. That's going to be it. So I can, in quick and out quick. And then there was the first lockdown. And so I'm I set everything up here. I added the grandmother in. It wasn't really in the setup before.
Yeah.
And then now I got my pianos and stuff set up there. And now I'm playing it all. And I'm went back to playing in the fall. And I'm well, now I got to bring more stuff out. And now it's gotten even. But so now I'm work on paring it down.
Yeah, it's funny. It's I just I feel like I'm in the same boat. I used to tell people, and I still do. I actually told someone today. I got into Eurorack because I can do everything I want in a suitcase that closes, and I can get on a plane and put it in the overhead, and it's good. And now I'm just I'm I feel like I'm just starting over because I'm well, I want that.
I've always been guilty of having a giant setup.
Yeah, I was the drummer growing up. Yeah. And then when I started playing other instruments, it was well, you got to still have as much shit as the drummer, or else you're not doing it right.
Yeah.
Okay, so and then the last question I had was, what were the sample vocals being played on?
Oh, I had the one vocal sample. I meant to throw it in more. A friend of mine who I play with, this guy named Ian Goodtimes, he sent me this recording a couple days ago. He's check out me singing 13 years ago. It's just this scream of him doing this 30-second high A.
Yeah, wow.
I was I'm putting that in something. I'll find a better place for it, but it was too good to pass up.
And was that playing off the Squid as well?
I put that on I had it on the Squid initially, and then I wanted more percussion room on there, so I moved it over to the Digitact.
Okay, and to keep going, what is your what's your master clock in this setup? What's the master tempo setter?
The Digitact sets the tempo,
Mhm.
sends it to the key step, which then sends that to the tempi and the PAMs, which send
Okay.
clocks around everywhere else.
Yep, cool. Yeah, I think key step is one of those things that I see in a lot of people's setups and used, obviously to play in a sequence, but also for that reason of just like distributing things. So
Yeah, it's such a good interface between, hybrid setups.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
it's a badass sequencer too. There's so much stuff you can do with it.
Yeah, I mean they are super cool. I haven't played with one, but I know everybody that I've seen use them. It's like they've been able to do some really powerful things, it seems like.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for playing, and can't wait to have you back. That was super awesome.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Of course. Everybody, Current Fantasy, thank you all for hanging out with us. We are reaching the end of the night, but you do not need to go anywhere yet because we have one more performance for you, and this one is going to be super fun. Yet again, if you want to play Freq Boutique, if you're interested, go and sign up, ColoradoModularSynthSociety.com, Freq Boutique sign up. And also make sure to follow Colorado Modular Synth Society on social media, Discord, wherever you are, and WMD as well, WM Devices. So we make modular synthesizers, and we host this night. And we also do fun other events that we post on our Instagram. So make sure to check us out and give us a follow. And yeah, thanks again for watching. Up next, we have Modulus 10.
Greetings, passengers, and welcome aboard. And the travel time will be approximately 22 minutes. Greetings, passengers, and welcome aboard. Your travel time will be approximately 22 minutes. Greetings, passengers, and welcome aboard. Your travel time will be approximately 22 minutes. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the journey. On this journey, feel free to enjoy your favorite liquid, apple, salt, or form of syrup. Now, sit back, relax, and enjoy the journey. become an adult. One has then finally 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 become an adult.
And there you have it, folks.
Damn. Yeah, that was absolutely wonderful. Wow.
Y'all told me to get off the grid.
Dude, I just want to get into the sound tank, dude. Deprivation tank.
Oh.
Just like, let me float, dude. The float tank, and just let me go for it and just blast off, man.
Well, thank you. That was kind of the vibe. I kind of wanted to, take a trip. I was reading. I know this sounds a little weird, but I was reading some quotes. I Googled scary children's quotes, and I just read them into the computer, and then let the computer mangle them.
Okay.
So it was all sorts of like really kind of dark. You give up being a child when things stop amazing you.
Yeah.
And it was fun, but it was just this like trip and lots of droney. The only pulse was the kick drum, and that it was only for a little bit. So.
Yeah, I was wondering. So like, the subby, like super subby kind of impact things every once in a while. Was that a kick drum?
That was the Entity 808.
Yeah.
Yeah, and but actually paired with the Crater.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so the Crater was on the 4s, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and the Entity was just on the 1.
Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense.
So
Awesome. Yeah, I actually wrote down, was there duplicates? So all the different like voices and things coming in and out, were those being sequenced by Ableton or something else?
No, so I use Ableton as a clock right now, and that's
Okay.
it. Plus, you saw me pushing on the push 2. That was the spoken word that I recorded. So they were like ad hoc loops. Normally I would put it in the assimilator, but the assimilator had all my movie clips going in it. So
Yeah.
I had sequenced samples in the assimilator, and then one-off trigger finger on push.
Okay.
But yeah, Ableton was the clock into the vector's S-bus to the Metron. That's the brains of my entire operation.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, sounded really great. Just like
Thanks.
very put together, and I mean, you could it was just very direct and to the point, and I loved it.
A lot better than that race car and car crash I did that first time, huh?
Well, like, wait, what do you always say? You always say it always just sounds like a race car video game.
No
or something?
matter, and that was the thing too, is I found myself constantly, I used more Volterras than Metron on that because I was using the CV but not the gates. So yeah, I mean, everybody was just like, yeah, just don't use the grid.
Yeah,
And you know how hard that is?
absolutely, yeah. I mean, dude, I stopped playing guitar. I literally stopped playing guitar because every song I wrote just sounded like an 80s video game about either BMX or racing cars. It's like, all right, let's do it. It's just like, all right, Cruising USA. Yeah. Oh man, I tried to make it cool, but it just wasn't.
I'm a horrible guitar player, but actually the samples that you heard in the Morphogene, all that weird backwards drone, were guitar chords that I played.
Awesome.
So all the samples were basically original, minus the fact that the assimilator, I sampled them from movies, but everything else was my spoken word and me playing guitar.
Yeah.
So yeah, I tried to make it as so when I recorded the guitar for the Morphogene, I didn't do it to a click. I just hit a chord. So
Yeah.
one chord's like dun, 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 and the other's bring. So they all have this different articulation. So yeah, I was really thrilled. This one I started working on this last week, and I was like, after I got picked, I was like, yeah,
That's
take
awesome.
everybody on a nice little cruise. So.
Yeah, I've actually been playing guitar again, and I've been basically just doing leads and then chords. But then I've been finding the joy in just reversing whatever I did, and it's like, oh, that sounds so much better.
Yeah, I play it backwards. I sound so much better. No, but that was a blast. Thanks for having me again. That was
of course, yeah.
I've been looking forward to this for a long time, and fuck yeah.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for playing.
And I can't wait till we get back to the bar. I bought a case.
I know. I saw that.
Me. I'm going mobile. The guy said he'd never fucking go mobile.
Well, the truth is, you just ran out of room in that case. You said you never run out of room.
There's a hole right here. There's a big space right here. It's just waiting for my new frap tools.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I really wanted to be able to, as things get better, I don't want to miss out on this when it goes back to physical. And so it's going to take me a while to get there. So I figured, you know what? I scored a steal of a deal from a friend who works at Sweetwater on that case. Couldn't pass it up. I was like, boom. It'll be a box.
Absolutely. So. Yeah. I mean, just like once we can party, man.
I know.
We haven't really been doing we haven't done patched out parties just because it's just not the same. But
no, that's more that's dance party. You really need to be somewhere and jump up and down and bop your head.
Yeah, it's a sound system party. It's about having the sound system and being able to be there.
For sure.
So again, everybody, Modulus 10. Chris, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
And thanks everybody for hanging out with us. What an amazing night. I mean, for reals, just so cool. If you do want to sign up to play Freq Boutique next month, it's the second Monday of each month. And the scroll was just scrolling. There it is, Colorado Modular Society.Freq Boutique. Sign up. Yeah, anytime you guys want to, if you want to sign up, definitely do that. As far as other events going on, there are tons of things happening all the time. I can't really keep them all straight. But we got the Friday night Vino Mallow living room party, which is the Vino Mallow YouTube every Friday night at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard. And then we have Basement State, which is every Friday night, I think at 9 p.m. Mountain Standard. I don't remember what time that one is, but that's Seattle's party. They do that every Friday. And then we've got the Bandcamp listening parties, which happen on the first Friday of every month. Great way to find out about some new music and support your favorite local and non-local artists. So be sure to check out Colorado Modular Synth Society.com and WMDevices.com. And again, thank you guys so much. We will see you all next time. Peace out.